In life, there's really only a couple people that you need to impress, a couple people that you need to make proud. And it's not like your family, it's not your bosses, your friends. It's the different versions of you throughout your life. The inner child of you, the future version of yourself, that kind of deal. I feel like where I am right now, I'm I'm making I'm making both of those people somewhat proud. You know, I'll start with my future self. I imagine that in the future, right? Let's call it like when I'm 50, let's say, if I make it that long, right? And that's not even like a depressing thing. That's just like, in case the world doesn't get fucking blown up. Because holy shit, the news is scary. But I mean, like, if I'm 50, I imagine that all the work and all of the like effort I'm putting into my videos and stuff, I know it will pay off, and I hope that that guy in the future is he's not where I was a couple years ago. You know, he's probably thinking like he's got it good. He worked really hard and he's proud of his accomplishments and he's able to not only live a better life, like financially speaking, but also help um, the rest of his family. Either that be like my brothers and sisters, my mom and dad, or if I get like a wife and kids at that point. You know, I don't know if I'm a solo queue through life, or not. But I imagine that the work I'm putting in right now is gonna pay off not only in like a financial and a like material way, but more in a way of like I feel good about myself and I feel good every day and I'm waking up not like not thinking of anything, just kind of waking up and being normal. And my first thought of the day is shit, I'm hungry. Let me get some waffles or something, you know. Now, I also imagine that what I'm doing right now is making the younger version of me, my inner child, happy and proud. Because not only am I pursuing um, and actively working on being an entertainer, right? Whether it be through streaming or educational videos about the video games I play, or the videos I make that are supposed to be more entertaining and they're funny and it's joke after joke after joke, stuff like that. Because I always wanted to be an entertainer. I've talked about that before. I've always wanted to be someone people can laugh with, laugh at, whatever. Whatever I do puts a smile on their face. That was always my number one goal growing up, and actively trying to pursue that right now. I'm sure it's making him feel really good, but also in more of a mental sense as well, because holy shit, did I not feel good growing up? I talked about that as well before about how I was horribly depressed, or like riddled with anxiety and shit. I mean, right now I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty goaded. Um, I've I've just worked my way through it. I've just tackled it head on and came out on top. Um, so in that sense too, I'm also like showing my inner child, like, yo, you know what? If you lock in, you can just do it. You know, you can push past those moments and those feelings. You know, you don't need to be held down by them. So in that sense, I'm making both my inner child and my future self proud by not only the work I'm doing physically on my my career and my ambitions, but also in the sense that my mental stability is is getting better. You know, I've been able to really address and face my mental health issues a lot and come to terms with the ones I can't really do anything about, um, other than just continuously get better every single day. The moral of this one really is that when you're trying to make a really important decision in life, and I'm talking a decision that really impacts the path that you're going on, whether it be a relationship you want to explore or your career options or whatever. Something something really impactful to you, you have to understand that no one else's opinions really matter other than your own. And no one else's, like, you don't owe anyone anything to make them proud. You know, there's no like, if let's say your parents really want you to go to college for engineering and you want to go to college for, I don't want to say art because that's so stereotypical, but you want to go to college for like computer science and they want you to go for like a steady like engineering job, and you really believe that with your computer science degree you can find a career in like video game development or any sort of tech company, whatever, right? I'm sure this doesn't really apply anymore because everyone wants to do cyber stuff. But in that moment where you're trying to decide your major, right? You don't need to make your parents proud by choosing what they want, or you don't need to make like you don't need to do anything for anyone else's approval. You need to do what you need to do, you know. What is what does the inner child of you think right now, and what will the future self of you think 20 years, 30 years time? Again, you don't you don't own any you don't owe anyone else's approval. You don't owe them that. You owe it to yourself to live the life that you want to live and make yourself proud. Thank you.